well, she did my introduction for me, but like she said, my name is Patsy Crawford, and I'm a team leader with UVM. And I just wanted to share with you guys my personal success story. So back in March of last year, I was asked to host a party by one of my friends that had just signed up to become a consultant. I immediately responded and said, no thanks. And I don't know if any of you can relate, but I didn't want to host anything where I had to ask my friends for things. Which is kind of funny because at the time, I was actually a Jambier consultant. And I had felt that I tapped out all my resources. But that ask resonated with me. And I kept thinking about it. And for like 2 weeks, I kept thinking about it. And I finally reached out to her, and I said, okay, we really do need some books. So let's have a party. And I've loved books ever since I was a kid, and I really wanted my children to grow up with books. And at the time, I had a 14-year-old, a 15-month-old, and I was pregnant with my son. So we set up the party, and I had tossed around the idea of becoming a consultant for the same reason I'm sure 99% of you signed up, the discount. Let's face it, we all want discounts on things. So my party came, and it was an over $1,100 Facebook party. I thought to myself, I had my aha moment, and I said, Patsy, that was so dumb. Why didn't you sign up and host your own party? You could have made that $400 yourself. So I started making my rewards wish list, and it kept growing and growing. And I spent $465 on books. And that included my rewards and my consulting bit. Well, my husband flipped out. As I'm sure most of you can relate. And that's when I began thinking, these books sold themselves to not only me, but to my friends. I could actually make money doing this. And I made a bet with my husband that I would earn that $465 back in my first paycheck. My team leader is here, and she can attest to that bet because she was actually on the phone with me when I made that bet with my husband. Right, Liz? Do you remember that? So, my husband's exact words were, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, I did what we all do, and I messaged all my friends asking if they wanted to host parties and told them how amazing these books are. I got a lot of no's, but that didn't stop me. I got plenty of yeses too. And I ran with it. I started budgeting my precious time, and I was really nervous as I have a husband that travels for work. He's gone 4 days a week, every week. I had a 15-month-old, and I was exhausted. I was 6 months pregnant. So I quickly learned how much I could get done just during nap time and after bed. So if you don't have time carved out for your business, that would be my first tip to you. Carve out time for your business. Start looking at your day and see where you can fit in time for your business. For me and my family, it was during nap time and it was after bedtime. Those were the only times I really was able to do anything. All of my business was on Facebook, and I kind of went a little crazy. My upline started calling me the Facebook queen. And I was booking party upon party, and I was loving it. And I just happened to look up the requirements for being a team leader. I looked at my numbers, and I actually realized that I was going to reach month 1 of team leader qualification in the first 2 weeks of my business. My upline thought I was a little crazy, to deliver a book to her, and I told her, I only need $200 more to reach 2,000. She's like, why do you have to reach 2,000? You're only 2 weeks in. I said, I'm going to become a team leader, and I'll reach month one this month if I sell those $200. And she said, well, you're clearly going to become a team leader, but if you don't get it this month, you'll definitely get it next month. And I said, no, I'm not going to let this month go to waste. I'm like almost there. I'm just going to do it. And she laughed at me, and then she started helping me with the all too familiar end of month number crunching. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. And on the last night where sales would count, I actually had 3 parties in one night. 1 Eastern, 1 Central, and 1 Pacific. So, I'm obviously super high gold. If you guys don't know what that means, read the colors book. But I set my mind to my goal, and I did it. Within 2 weeks of becoming a consultant, I qualified for month 1 of being a team leader. Okay? And within 6 weeks of becoming a consultant, I had successfully become a team leader. So, team leader is for you. It's for everyone. I obviously attribute that success to our amazing books, but I can say that hard work doesn't pay off. I remember that little bet that I made with my husband. Well, I heard about that $465 almost daily until my first paycheck came in 2 weeks later. After I had become a consultant, just 2 weeks was when we got paid monthly, and my check was over double that $465. Insert word of mouth, right? That's when my husband started taking us more seriously. He saw the potential in how it could help our family. He had just taken his dream job, but that job came with the sacrifice of a pay cut. But God is very faithful, and we quickly realized that the money I had coming in made up for his pay cut almost exactly. I was paying our mortgage, working from home, all this only 2 weeks after becoming a consultant. And I quickly signed up for convention. I knew I had to be there, and I knew it would change my business even more. So, please, please, please go to convention. It's a game changer. I met Randall, and I made it my goal while I was there to have him remember my name before convention was over. And if Randall wasn't in the room right now, he still remembers that. And guess what? He knows my name. Anyway, convention was amazing. But in the back of my head, I had the fear of having 2 kids under 2 with 1 being a newborn while my husband was gone. He was gone every night, and I was alone working from home. But I knew that I couldn't stop, and I had to get back to work as quickly as I could. Obviously, that'll look different for everyone, but that's the beauty of this business. So I kept scheduling parties, and I was so thankful that I could schedule things on my time. I knew when it would work for me. So I set up a document to use my time efficiently. Does that work? Did that work? Okay. So I set up a document of, this is what I send a hostess a week before the party. This is what I put in the party description. This is what I send a new recruit. All of it I have right there. So all I had to do was copy and paste at the correct time to the correct person. And I also signed up for a service that could schedule my posts when I wanted them posted. They would post my parties for me, just in case I had a baby emergency and I couldn't post when I was supposed to. That was also a game game changer, and I recommend anybody looking into that if you don't already utilize that. Especially if you have Facebook parties regularly. So I had Theodore, and 2 weeks after he was born, actually 1 week after he was born, I had my first Facebook party, holding him in my arms, and I ended up getting myself into a little routine. Even though he wasn't in a routine, I knew what I needed to do and when I needed to do it. 8 weeks after Theo was born, my husband ended up in the hospital. So he was in the hospital for 6 weeks. In fact, he's still in and out of the hospital. He was in the ER Friday night before I left home. So I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that I can still run my business. I don't have to stop my business, and I can be there with him when I need to. I take my computer with me to the hospital, and I run my parties from there. I don't tell you this for sympathy. I tell you to show you that you can do it too. Set a goal. Write down 3 things that you need to do to help you accomplish that goal. Always have 3 things. Once one of those 3 things gets done, add another to the list that can still help you achieve that goal. So you always have 3 things to help you reach that main goal. And do that until your goal is completed. You will get there. I remember walking across the stage at convention saying, I will be on that cruise in July. And I will be. And so will my husband. Because I already cruised for 2. Because I set a goal. And I did what I needed to do until I reached it. It felt so good to accomplish that goal and be able to do something for my family. And UVM has changed my life and my family's life, and it can change yours too. I feel honored to have UVM kids, as Vicki calls them. And this business is flexible, and it looks different for everyone. It's what you want it to be, and it can change with whatever life throws at you. In closing, I just want you to think about these questions. What do you want your business to look like? How has UVM changed your life? And where do you want to be 1 year from now with UVM? This is my UVM success story,